What's up, everyone? Welcome into Attacking Third. It's Monday. It's the new year. It kind of feels like the first show of the year, even though we gave you a little bit of a snippet last week. We're back. We are better than ever. Today, we're talking new expansion team in the NWSL. We're playing a game called Fill in the Blanks. EA Sports FC drops their team of the year, and then a mailbag because you guys have a lot of questions for us. Alongside Darian Jenkins and Sandra Herrera and Christine Cupo, I'm Lisa Carlin. Christine, it's been a minute. We've missed you, bud. How are you?
I have missed you guys so much. We've got to do an IRL thing so I can like high five you. But it's nice to be back on the stream.
You almost missed us this morning. I'm going to put you on blast here.
I signed Gigi up for Iditarod school. Okay, no, you know what? The fact that that's completely plausible, I'm lying. But I did. I took Gigi out. It's snowing here in New York. She was living her best life. I lost track of time, and then we did our own version of a tandem sprint back home so that I could be here with everybody. So I don't mind airing myself out. Also, I might as well be fully transparent here. Some of you know that I recently moved and I've been putting up shelves and things like that recently. So before somebody thinks something happened to me terribly, if the light hits it, I do have a black eye. It's concealed properly. I cracked it on a shelf when I was turning my head because I thought I was like Barb the Builder. But yeah, let's get this all out of the way first, okay? So like, yeah, I was tardy. The rumors are going to be like, yo, Cupo finally joined that fight club. She was late this morning. Wasn't the dog.
Moving is tough.
Yeah, I have not been back boxing, so just letting y'all know now.
Christine, sorry about your eye, but
you still look great.
Yeah.
My best features. I was like, you know what? Let me look like I got permanent eyeliner.
There you go. There you go.
Sandra D, good morning. Sandra, how's your weekend? You got snow in Chi-Town?
Had a little bit of lake effect flurries. I'm grateful to be on the south side because we didn't get as much as up north if you're closer to Wisconsin. But I'm more concerned about the wind gusts. But definitely a day that's manageable, but one that I'm spending inside.
So if the Wi-Fi goes out, we're gonna blame you.
That's right.
Me.
Did my part. I got here at the beginning. Don't know if I'll be here in the end.
Oh, nice. D, we're checking in on you. Did you have breakfast this morning?
I did not. I did a long gym workout. I'm gonna have it afterwards. As long as I eat it before 2:00, I think that counts. Breakfast. That's typically when I'm like, why do I feel nauseous and really hungry? I haven't eaten anything but sparkling water. But yeah, no, I feel good.
Logic, which means you in danger, girl.
No. I feel good. I turned 30 over the weekend. Hey, shout out to you guys. We had a fun weekend together. I spent yesterday recovering. So yeah, today I'm good. I had to sweat it out. So I'm feeling good.
Wait a minute. You turned 30 and you only recovered for one day? Okay, she's elite.
I'm a young 30.
I don't know, man. I was down bad for at least 2 to 3 business days when I turned 30.
Happy birthday,
baby 30.
Happy birthday, Darian. Wishing you the best year ever. 30 is
thanks, guys.
I don't know. We're getting there. In honor of Darian's birthday, I'm just gonna put this out there for you, D. I think you want something very special for your birthday. And I think that's an award. I think that you want to win a sports podcast award for your birthday. Is that right?
That's right, Lisa. How did you know?
That's it.
38 podcast awards. Yes.
That's all.
I heard 2. I heard she wants to sweep both categories, but hey, that's just
2, Christine. She does, because Attacking Third is finalists in not 1 but 2 sports podcast awards. We are up for the Best Football Podcast and Diverse Voices Award. The winners are determined entirely by fan voting. So use the QR code on the screen. There is a link in the podcast description and the description on YouTube, and vote for Attacking Third. You can vote for about another week, open through January 13th. Vote. Guys, do it for D. Do it for Darian and her birthday. All right, let's jump into the biggest news happening in the NWSL. We have officially, unofficially, our 16th NWSL expansion team. According to multiple reports from The Athletic and Sportico, Denver, Colorado will be joining the NWSL in 2026 as the 16th expansion side for a record-setting $110 million expansion fee. Yes, those numbers are correct. $110 million. That more than doubles the expansion fees for Bay FC and Boston that were around $53 million. So this is the largest sum ever paid for in order to acquire a North American pro women's soccer team. Sandra, this is a whole lot of money. What do we know about it? What do we know about this money? Where did it come from? Where is it going? What is the league possibly going to do with $110 million?
Well, first of all, it made history, right? I think we're coming off of a year where we're coming off of an experience with NWSL where whenever there's been the opportunity for double expansion years, once the money gets announced, I think that gets a lot of the attention. And naturally, this is going to get a lot of the attention because it already doubles what we have just seen in recent events. I think for the very short time that they had the record, it belonged to Bay FC for their record expansion fee. And now Denver has come in and completely smashed it. So at the very surface level, there's a celebration of that type of moment. I mean, this league loves evaluation. They love a number. Now they've got themselves another one. I think it's important to note that, within some of the reporting is definitely an expansion fee that's going to be paid over the course of time. There's already a first payment that's already been made. I mean, not to make it sound like a layaway kind of plan, but it's going to come in increments. And not only do you love to see that kind of number, but I think that's the other kind of sub question. Other things we would like to see is where exactly is it going? How is it going to be utilized? I think when it comes to bid books and markets that are making their bids, there's intention maybe behind having this money. Not only is it an expansion fee, but where's it going to go and how's it going to be utilized? And I think for Denver, with their future team, there's going to continue to be those discussions around the stadium. We have heard so much about it with Boston and kind of their semi-roadblocks to not real roadblocks, and now they're going to actually break ground on their facilities. And now for Denver, what's that going to mean for them? What's that going to look like for them when they get here in 2026?
This is a Denver city that has been fighting for this expansion for a long time because it's a hotbed. I mean, players, Darian, come from Denver, right? You look at Mallory Swanson, Sophia Smith, Lindsey Horan, just the three biggest names right now in U.S. women's national team football. But players want to go there too. It's a pretty cool city.
It's a dope city. I also already see this rivalry of Salt Lake and Denver because that's already a very real rivalry. So I like this. I think it's going to be great for the league. And even growing up, Colorado Rush is one of the biggest, most competitive clubs that has a massive pipeline for players that go play at D1 college. A lot of players that go play pro, either in the NWSL or overseas. They have great coaching programs. When you look at how this is going to be a team that's going to be so competitive in the NWSL, I think a big factor in that is their attachment to the youth programming that comes out of Colorado. Yes, you named those three biggest names, the women's national team that have come out of playing in Denver. They're going to continue that pipeline. And I think it's going to make it so competitive now, especially with no draft. I think Denver's going to come in guns a-blazing and be one of the most competitive teams to jump into the NWSL that we've seen. And they've got, over $100 million backing them? I mean, they're setting a completely new standard, I think, of what joining the NWSL is going to look like. And I cannot wait to see them live up to what we're imagining it's going to be.
We've seen expansion sides come in and be really successful. I think San Diego set a benchmark for how clubs can compete in a really competitive NWSL, but the competitive process starts well before teams are even formed and take place because Denver had to beat out hundreds of other cities making bids. There were hundreds of bids initially for this 16th expansion team, but ultimately they beat out Cleveland and Caitlin Clark and Cincinnati in Ohio, two teams that were ready to come in and make their mark. But now we see that it's going to be Boston, Christine, it's going to be Denver. They're coming in 2026, and they have to make waves. If you're at Denver and you are looking to start 2026 with a bang, which expansion team that you've already seen succeed in the NWSL are you going to follow that format? Who are you I want to be you. If I could be anyone, I want to be you.
I feel like the Waves maiden season was pretty impressive. I think even if they followed a Bay format, even though they were up and down, the bones were there. So it was let's get a good head coach and then try to implement a system and have the patience to ride it out. I think that they fared pretty damn well. I think that either of those would be pretty good models to go after. as a side note, I think that with this advent of ridiculous expansion fees just to buy in, I think that there needs to be a reevaluation of what it means to be an existing club and set standards and minimums for what there must be with the alleviation of the draft, set up academies, things like that. I think that if you're going to be serious and start lumping these big fees on the backs of new expansion sides, there needs to be more to it than that.
For those that don't know, before Christine Cupo was commentator extraordinaire, she worked in corporate America. Can I say that? I don't know.
Yeah, I was part of Big
Finance.
Four. Sorry, I was a cog in the machine. Yeah,
I would hire her
about it often,
to figure out
but
what to do with this money.
Yeah, former Deloitte, former PwC. I also worked on the structured finance side at Moody's for a little bit. If you're into
Like
ratings
Denver,
agencies.
hire me. NWSL,
I'm a
hire
dork.
me.
But
I mean, it's valid. This is so much money, and it has to be going somewhere that is beneficial. And it's one of the craziest things that we don't know. We, as in like the public, right, don't know where this $110 million is going, right? It's going
right, but there needs to be a rationale behind the ticket price, other than we want there to be more exclusivity. And from my perspective thus far, that's been the only angle that you can perceive it from, is that we want, since we have all of these bids, we have the option of driving up the price versus demand. And that's great because everyone wants to buy into women's sports. However, there needs to be some underlying foundational reasons for these exorbitant prices. We want to grow the sport, and I do agree with that. And I do think that there needs to be a tempered, smart way to implement expansion sides. If you expand too quickly, I promise you this league will fold. There'll be too many teams that just are insolvent. They won't be able to withstand this. They also won't be able to sustain the job growth, which is great, but there's a measured way to approach this. So I think that when you look at teams, and I'm sure we've talked about this and beat this dead pony a million times, like a Houston Dash, there needs to be certain minimums imposed on teams that are pre-existing, and not worry so much about extraordinary valuation, because it's not that they're fictitious in whole. They have a basis in reality, and there's different ways of evaluating an organization and a company. I think that it really comes down to, until somebody wants out, that's bought in, a stakeholder or otherwise, that's more than a minority shareholder, that's when these valuations that are very, very high blow up in your face because you're unable to pay out or substantiate them. But otherwise, they can ride and nobody will ever challenge them.
Taking notes. I'm taking very detailed notes right now because it makes sense. We did a poll on YouTube for those watching us live on YouTube, asking where the money should go. 61% overwhelmingly, it's no doubt, said that the money should go towards the players. 28% said the money should go towards academies or youth players, and 20% to the front office. We did, our producer Mark put up a poll for the fans if they should get a cut of this. No, 0%. And everyone that watches us is like,
Good
hey,
job,
I'm a
everybody.
fan. So they know it's a good pulse check here on Attacking Third. But even better pulse check is what Denver is going to do with the name, with the marketing campaign, with how they roll out this club, because they have.
Well, Boston set the bar in the mud, so go on, Denver.
It can only go up from here.
It can't get any worse than that. All I'm going to say is, Denver, just don't call yourself Den Nation. Maybe don't do that one.
Den Nation.
Don't do that.
Goodness.
It's like too terrible. But let us know if you're with us live on YouTube. Drop it in the chat. What is your suggestion for what Denver's NWSL expansion team name should be? We're going to let you guys marinate. Drop that in there. But you three, you are the creative minds of Attacking Third. Hit me. What do you got, Sandra? I know you've been broing on this. What should Denver be called? You know?
Oh man, definitely not Den Nation. I think we had this conversation where we're just like, get funky with it. Channel your inner like minor league baseball affiliate teams. Give me some random animal. Give me an animal. Have that be like what you rally around. If you want to go by Denver FC, congratulations. Go ahead and go by Denver FC. But give me a cool animal. Give me like a mountain lion or something, or maybe something more native to Denver. But give me an animal to rally behind.
Quickly Googling animals native to Denver, Colorado.
Denver state bird, Denver state animal, Denver state flower.
Yeah.
Somebody quick hit me with it.
Denver
what do you
Clouds.
have? You had some good ones for Boston back in the day. You got any good ones for Denver?
Did I? I think my best one was like Boston Baddies.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
and honestly, that still was better than what they chose.
It really is. I've got to marinate on it. I'm trying to think like
They've got
what
Nuggets.
people
Who are the
go to
franchises they got out
Aspen.
there?
Yeah, they've got the Nuggets.
Nuggets,
They've got Broncos.
Mm-hmm. They have the Rockies.
Rockies, Rapids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, Denver FC is not bad. What about like Summit?
I don't mind Denver FC, but I understand the appeal of having a mascot too that can go after whatever the name is.
Mark, we got
our producer Mark says Dynamite. What if Denver Dynamite and like an actual stick of dynamite is like as a mascot? Incredible.
Owen in our chat is saying Aspens. T Money says the Altitudes.
Altitudes is hilarious.
Yeah, that's not bad. The Mile High Club, that's the fan group, the supporters group. We could go with that one.
Breathless FC.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of good, Sandra. See, you guys are creative. Christine, you got any? You're quiet over there.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like the worst ones so I could throw them out. So when I'm joking around and they inevitably pick one that's that bad, I could be like, hey, I suggested that, but as a joke. It'd be like Ver FC, never mind Den Nation.
Yeah. Just don't do something like Pioneer Women or something like don't do that. Just stay away from that kind of stuff.
Quaker FC.
Yeah, get out of there. Just throw those in the garbage right now.
Terrible. Someone also says the double Black Diamond. I don't know, Black Diamond FC, Black Diamonds. It's like kind of cool. I could see that one. I don't know. We'll see. They've got time to take our suggestions or not and learn a thing or two from Boston Nation, but we have it officially official. And before we close out this segment, we do have to say shout out to friend of the show, friend of CBS, Jordan Angeli, Denver,
Jordan,
who was influential in getting this off the ground and being a proud supporter of it. I think we all have Denver FC shirts. We got to rock them at some point.
We do, in fact, yes,
which is pretty cool. So
that's really the best part of this news. We were all so happy.
Yes,
I know. We were like, yes, Jordan. So
shout out Jordan.
Congrats to Jordan, to Denver, for everyone involved in this, for the league, I guess, for getting $110 million, because that's just too much. If we find out where it's going, guys, you'll be the first ones that we let know. Don't go anywhere. We are playing a fun little game. It's kind of like Mad Libs, but soccer version. You don't want to miss it. I promise. Stick with us. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third. Fill in the blank 2025 edition. This is a fun game our producer Mark came up with where we have a couple different statements about 2025 that we're going to read off and then fill in the blank. We also want you to fill in the blank. If you're with us live on YouTube, let us know. Put your answers in the chat. We'll read them off. We'll let you know what's up. This is going to be a good one. Let's start with statement number 1. Says Danielle Colaprico will end up signing for blank. So this is essentially what team she's going to sign for. Darian, I'm going to start with you. Where will Danielle Colaprico sign?
NC Courage. Sean Nahas is going to sweep her up. I see her going there. I think her style of play with Denise O'Sullivan and that double pivot could be so crucial for them. They had a lot of injuries this last year, and I think bulking up with Danielle Colaprico would be huge. I love her style of play. I see her going there. Let's make it happen. I think I can't imagine her anywhere else, actually, besides Kansas City, who's just trying to sweep up all the midfielders just for the hell of it at this point.
Sandra?
I think it depends on a couple things. I think it depends on it whether or not Colaprico has fallen in love with the West Coast and wants to continue to call that home. Maybe she finds her way to a West Coast team, or she really goes back home to New Jersey and signs with Gotham. So I think maybe at a certain point in a player's career, you oftentimes want to head back home. So I'm going to say that Gotham has been making some moves. Maybe they can use another midfielder with all the movement that's taken place, and maybe that midfielder is Danny Colaprico.
Ooh, a couple
It's also
people
a
in
good
the
shout.
chat agree with you, Sandra.
Yeah.
Owen, Omid, they're all saying Gotham.
We'll see.
Christine.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Dang. You know, like now that Darian said North Carolina, I'm like, yo, I could actually really see her there.
It's a good one.
I was thinking she'd just stick it out in California, and just end up just swapping over and being like, hey, Angel City would be fine and lovely. She is. I like her as a player. She's good on both sides of the ball, and she's a little toughy. But I mean, now I want her to go to North Carolina. Can we bring her to North Carolina?
Like,
Yeah,
well,
no, I like that shout. I think Darren
That
had
is
a very
good
good point.
shout. It's a good
Wow,
shout.
thanks, guys. Lisa, what about you?
Anyone would be happy to have her. I think she's
Yeah.
staying on the coast. You don't go to California for 2 years and decide I'm good. I think she's going to Bay FC.
Fair.
I knew you were going to say
Fair.
Bay.
I think Abby
I knew
Dahlkemper
it.
is calling her up and saying
Yeah.
it's really great here. We got a good thing building, and we need you in the midfield.
I like that because they remade Kiki Pickett into a 6.
Yes.
Which she did. She had a really good season. She grew a lot there, but Danielle Colaprico is a 6/8. That would be a really, really good move for them.
And she could play so well with Kiki. It would be fun. We don't know. We'll keep you updated on the free agent Colaprico. Statement number 2. Blank will score the most goals for the U.S. women's national team in 2025. Sandra, who is going to be the golden boot for the U.S. in 2025?
I'm going to say Mallory Swanson. I'm going to say Mal Swanson's going to get a golden boot.
Yep, I second that one. Swanson.
Third.
Ooh.
Wow. I'll dare to be different. I wrote down Sophia Smith. I think we're seeing her back in form, looking confident, taking shots from distance, close range, just a different type of hunger that we were missing from her at the World Cup that we saw in the Olympics, saw when she came back. I think NWSL season at the end of the year with Portland was rough. She's going to be hungry to come out and score this year with the women's national team. So I'm banking on Soph Smith.
That's a great shout for Soph Smith.
Somebody
She's also
from Colorado.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be a former Denver player.
Big problems.
Statement number 3. We're talking the GOAT. We're talking the legend, the one to do the double last year with Orlando Pride. Marta will play for blank more years. Marta will play for blank more years. Christine, please manifest something good and long for us.
Oh.
Great. I'm going. We've got her for another 2 years.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going 4.
Nice.
Going 2.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, maybe it's not with Orlando the whole time, but I don't think she's gonna quit anytime soon.
where do you think she's going to go?
See, I feel like for me, like she has to stay at Orlando. Like I don't know why.
I think she'll stay at Orlando for some of it.
Yeah.
For all 4, no. Go live in the south of France and retire there, or go, go live somewhere. She could go sign for any team she wants in the world.
I love that.
No matter the age.
4 more years, but maybe not all in NWSL.
Yes.
You might have swayed me a little bit because initially I'm like, we'll get 2 more years of Marta, but in my mentals I'm like in NWSL. Like one in an option. Like you want to give that player that opportunity, right? It's like, hey, let's throw out a mutual option here. We'll recheck in, right? So really a year, but with an option. And then who knows? Maybe she does. Maybe she goes back to Brazil, man. Maybe again, I was talking about players wanting to go home. Maybe there's a little bit of that. But I'm
Sophie on YouTube is saying 25, and I would love for her to play for another 25 years.
Incredible, Sophie. I love it.
I'm just not sure that's going to happen. Guys, I think we're getting 1. I think we got 1 more year.
Just 1?
Yeah.
See, when I said 2, I think that's like 2 more years with the Pride, and then she pushes off. But
but she alluded about the World Cup.
I know.
When I interviewed her.
I know.
She's like,
I know.
If Brazil needs me, I'll be there.
Especially because it's
honestly, she was so like when I had talked to her around the time when she announced like her international retirement, she was like absolutely like adamant that like I'm not retiring. Like I'm not done with club yet. So I feel like it's safe to say 2.
Guys, I think it's more of like a subconscious thing. I'm just going to say 1.
You're trying to prepare yourself.
I won't be sad, right? And then I'll just ease my way into it. I'm going 1 now. Okay.
No one can hurt you more than you hurt yourself. I'm with you.
I got to protect my peace. I got to protect it. Statement number 4 and fill in the blank. The NWSL's 17th and 18th expansion franchises should be blank and blank. NWSL's 17th and 18th expansion franchises should be blank and blank. Sandra, I'm going to go to you first for this one. And there is one right answer. So
yeah, I'm gonna let you sing a certain praises. But I'm thinking back to this last expansion process. So again, congratulations to Denver and by extension, Boston. So we've got another team on the East Coast. And I'm sorry, Denver is part of the West, even though they're not coastal. They are a Western team. I need more teams in the Central. So just going off of recent expansion bid processes, I think the next 2 expansion teams should be either Nashville or Cincinnati.
Mark, get her off the screen.
Ooh.
Get her off.
Cut her mic.
Cut her mic. She's done. She's
that what I said
today.
I think she did that just to hurt you.
Mark just got rid of her off the screen. Bye, Sandra. Okay, who would
I
like
might
to
as well
go
go. I might as well go second, because I'm also going to be chopped off the screen. I said Cincy and Austin.
Okay.
I would love for there to be a team in Austin. Since he's already got a bid, I think they're going to have to come in with more money after seeing what Denver's done. I mean, everybody's going to have to level up. Austin has a great stadium there if they partner with Austin FC. I see it being a thing. There needs to be a different team in Texas besides Houston. Or maybe Houston. Again, I keep putting this out there in the universe. Houston needs to relocate to Austin or something.
A
But
relocation.
to me, Cincy and Austin are the 2 teams that I think deserve space.
Okay. Goodbye, Darian. It's been really fun working with you and having a great time with you.
Single elimination round.
It may end up being a
Oh,
one-woman
Lisa gets her own
so let's see
show.
what happens. Who is going to be the 17th and 18th expansion franchise, Christine?
Okay, here's how I feel about this. I say Philly, and this is as somebody that very openly does not particularly like Philly sports fans in general. For those of you that don't know, I spent a chunk of my childhood down on Long Beach Island. So we got a lot of those Pennsylvania, Philly, home phone folks over there who are rabid Eagle supporters. However, I do think that that region geographically does serve a lot of South Jersey and chunks that don't have access to New York sports teams and puts them in this weird sports diaspora. And also, South Jersey and Pennsylvania are big soccer states. People just overlook that like massively, and they need it. With that being said, my other shout would be, and I don't even know that they've ever thrown their hat in the ring. I know there's been whispers. I say Atlanta. I think that Atlanta is a massive sports city. And for other reasons that I absolutely adore, which we saw them embrace Atlanta United, which was more recently an expansion side for MLS. They also have a huge, vibrant Black soccer fan community. And I think that they're underserved. And I would love to see that vibe get into the women's game. I think that there's such a need there. And there's the money and the supports there already in the state of Atlanta, state of Georgia, and Atlanta. That city is just fun as hell. So that would be my shout there.
Atlanta's a big soccer city for sure. They got the new US
Yeah.
facility going there. That's a good one. But the correct answer is Philadelphia. As Owen put it ever so correctly, Philly and South Philly. We could do, one in each. It is desperate for a women's professional sports team, Philadelphia. They are so thirsty for what can come in this city. Guys, welcome back.
Welcome back.
It will be Philadelphia. So I'm putting that out there. And if you
I think Philly will come just later.
Yeah.
Shout out
after we get more teams in the middle of the country, then we will get more teams on the East.
Yeah, we need to get like
Agreed.
the Kelseys, and we need to get your beloved Taylor Swift activated to get that Philly expansion side up and running.
If Nashville just her being a part of a Nashville expansion team, she doesn't really claim Philly. She does when she's there, but that's it.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, she could be what if you just call Taylor up?
I'll do that.
We all know you got her number.
After this show, guys, I'll just give her a call. We got a lot of other good shouts in the chat for other cities. Twin Cities once won. Atlanta, a lot of people won Atlanta.
Yes.
Cincy, people are saying that. A lot of people said
it's cold as hell in the Twin Cities, man.
But hey, it works the way that the league plays right now. Also Toronto, but with the new Northern Super League coming in, I don't think that we will see NWSL crossover to our brothers and sisters to the north in Canada. We'll see. We'll come full circle on the 17th and 18th expansion sides once Philly is announced. Okay, statement number 5. Blank is the best soccer movie ever made. Darian, what's that? Best soccer movie ever.
She's the Man.
Yeah.
I remember that was an iconic time. That was an iconic movie for me at a time where I was like, I don't know if people think soccer's cool. It's like Amanda Bynes made soccer so cool. And I was like, damn, I wish UNC really wanted me. But that was the first college to reject me when I was looking at schools. And she was all about the Carolina Blues. Yeah, all my friends were committing to UNC. It was a little heartbreaking, but that was such a funny, iconic movie. We got Channing Tatum. Oh my God. Yeah. That's up there for me.
Yeah. It's a great one. I'm going to go Bend It Like Beckham. That's one of the greatest soccer movies of all time, in my opinion. Special shout out to the Big Green though. And that's also has a special place for me.
That's a good one.
But Bend Him Like Beckham for sure.
My favorite soccer movie is She's the Man, but also just because I was like, screw you. I also played with boys for most of my life, so I was always like, yeah, okay,
Relatable.
I can absolutely wreck your shit. Like, so I just like that. Plus, Amanda Bynes is hilarious. We all probably were drooling at that point over Channing Tatum. It was a time and a place. But also like Kicking and Screaming was a funny one. I'll give you that. Like, pass it to the Italian, that was a good one.
Bend It Like Beckham for me. It tops it. I love She's the Man, but I saw Bend It Like Beckham came out a little bit earlier, and it was, a girl trying to play on the men's team. It was a lot. That's a good one. Plus, you got Keira Knightley. That was a great one. Okay, NWSL kits. Now we're doing kits. The greatest NWSL jersey of all time. We've talked about this before on the show, I believe, Sandra, you and I, maybe some other people were in that mix, but I'm going to you because I don't remember what I said that episode, but I have a new one today. What's yours?
I'm glad you have a new one today because I'm not changing mine. The greatest NWSL kit of all time was a fully customized 2019 Chicago Red Stars elevated kit.
Oh,
I need to see it. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to be
Googling. It was unique. It was a unique design by a local graphic designer at the time that was with the club. They worked with Nike to fully, collaborate and make that come to life. And they had the iconic Red Stars of the city across the chest, along with something that mirrored the city's train system.
I remember that one.
White color, and it was worn. And then to put the cherry on top, it was worn by some of the greatest NWSL players of all time: Sam Kerr, Julie Ertz, Sarah Gordon.
This is true.
So there you go.
True.
That's a great shout. Chicago's had some really good kits. The Stars, I think, make it. It's very unique to Chicago. My favorite kit, sadly, that changed the year I went there was Seattle Reign's 2018 away highlighter kit.
Yes,
excellent.
I loved that kit. I thought it was so dope. It was so iconic. It was so loud. They made a custom color from Nike to do it. And when I agreed to go be traded to Seattle, I was like, yes, we get the kit. They freaking changed it. I never got to wear it.
2 or 3 years prior to 2018, right? I think they had it in 16 and 17.
And then another team, I remember it was a big thing. Another team tried to buy the color. And then there was a big controversy with Nike because they did this specific color. All this stuff is so stupid. Just let teams design their own custom kits. Who gives a shit? But that was my favorite kit that I sadly never got to wear. I missed it by 1 season, but still ingrained in my head forever. Watching Pino, Jess Fishlock, all these iconic players, Lauren Holiday wear that kit.
Yes. What's the favorite one that you've worn that you've had Jenkins across the back?
That's a really good question. Probably my Orlando kit. That was my jersey where all my family were hyped to get that one. They still wear it to this day. The black and purple with the stars. It was the Ad Astra year.
That one.
Although everybody hated the silver writing of our names in the white kit.
Oh, you can't read that when you're trying to talk about the game. I'm I think that might be Darian Jenkins.
Everyone hated that, but no, that was probably my favorite kit.
That was a cool one.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Christine, just make sure you warn us if you're going to say the Portland one with the tattoo.
Man,
Oh,
Hardy.
people are loving that in the
listen,
chat. hate
I
that
was
kit.
never an Ed Hardy fan, and that's exactly what that kit was to me. And I simply cannot. I was of age when like that trucker hat, whatever was happening, and trauma. I feel like my brain isn't fully working. I'd have to like go back and look through all of the good ones, and so like I'm definitely going to be a victim of some recency bias. But I think my favorite is the Orlando Citrus kit.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
a good
like
one.
the colors, the vibrancy, the messaging behind it, the fact that they put so much thought into that. Shouts to that marketing and PR team, by the way. They
Yes.
absolutely,
They
bar
crushed it.
none, absolutely incomparable. I thought that was it's just dope and it's fun to wear. Like I put it on and I'm like, mood improved.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
good
that's
one.
The
the
marketing-
Leo in me.
The marketing was so good that my roommate thought that was a genuine box of oranges, and I found it in the fridge looking for the kit.
This is still my favorite
Shout out
thing.
to Orlando.
Your husband, yeah.
Very
My
good.
husband
Marmalade
literally
that
thought they were
came with
real
it.
oranges.
Yeah, it really they crushed that. But yeah, I love that kit.
That's a good one. Last year's were pretty good. Like I liked Houston's last year with like the bright orange. But Darian, I did write down 2017 Seattle neon kit. I love
Yeah,
that one. I
it's
love
so good.
that one. I love that one. Okay, statement number 7. The first ever professional sporting event I ever attended was blank. First professional sporting event you attended, Christine. What was it?
Oh my God. It had to be OG Metro Stars
Oh,
over at the Meadowlands. Yeah. Like I think that was that it? Unless my dad dragged me to like a Yankees game, it might have been. I don't know. I would have been small. But like the first that I remember that was like intentionally centered around me was Metro Stars.
yeah, that's a good
Oh,
one.
that's cool.
Nice.
Ooh, I can go next. My very first sporting event I ever attended was the Utah Grizzlies hockey
Nice.
team. I remember going, sitting at the glass and being like kind of terrified that these men or the puck, like having really bad anxiety that the puck was going to fly out and like hit me in
Slamming
the
in the
face or
glass.
something. Like I didn't trust the nets.
Yeah.
But I remember I grew up, like obviously Utah's a big hockey state. So I remember going to those games a lot and then watching my brothers play hockey. So yeah, that's probably my first memory going to a sporting event, I think. Yeah.
Come on. Sandra?
I'm gonna go with probably a baseball. Like I think my dad probably took me to the Sox game. Growing up, my mother was a Chicago public school teacher forever, and they had really good programs with like tickets for teachers and stuff like that. My mom was not like a sporting event person, so my dad was like, "I'll take those," and like took me and my brother usually to games. So yeah, I think I'm like going in my Wayback Machine. It probably was a baseball game, probably Sox game.
Yeah. The Wayback Machine's working hard for me. Mine was probably baseball too. Either like the Reading Titans, like the minor league baseball team, or Phillies baseball. They were just like way more accessible than buying tickets to anything else that we could go to. I don't know. My mom and dad listen to this podcast pretty much every episode. Mom, let me know where I went. Okay,
Mom needs to jump in the chat.
yeah, come on, P. Revy, let's go. Okay, so from sporting event to pop culture, first concert that you ever attended? Sandra, where'd you go? Who were you jazzing up with?
So I was a very weird child. But
When it starts with that, I'm in.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was a very strange child, but this it's worth it now because in the time you're just like, I was a weirdo. Like, why did I do this? But I remember being a little kid and like begging my godmother to take me to go see Tina Turner. And
Oh, that's legendary.
Yeah.
and so yeah, now I'm like, actually, I was a brilliant
You were
child.
so cool,
Yeah,
Sandra.
I was a brilliant child,
Cool.
actually. Don't ask me why. I was like obsessed with Tina Turner. I don't know. It must have been like the James Bond stuff, whatever. And yeah, it was incredible because I still remember it to this day. So even though I was like a little kid, like with my godmother, like at a Tina Turner concert, it was incredible. And I ended up I just love her music. I was devastated when she passed away. rip, or rest in peace, legend. But yeah, pretty sick first concert to have. So I don't know if anyone's gonna be that.
No,
Sorry.
that's legendary.
Exactly.
I grew up obsessed with Tina Turner as well.
Yes,
that's a really, really good one. Damn. First concert I ever went to was Kanye West's graduation tour.
Ooh,
This was when he had
good
like
Kanye.
the like see-through sunglasses, the like ripped shred skinny jeans. I think I was pretty young. I don't know why. Like, I think one of my friends her dad was like an owner of the Maverick Center. It's where all the concerts are in Utah. So we had like a nice section or whatever, and she took our whole team to it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think I got home and my mom was like, I didn't realize that's the type of music you were going to listen to. And I was like, yeah.
Like, it was awesome.
Guys, I'm from Utah. You're just so
incredible. Yeah.
So everybody's parents were like shocked. I bet no one had a clue, but iconic, loved it.
That is
great era of Kanye West.
That is a great concert. My first one was NSYNC, boy band style, back in the day with my sisters.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me in any way.
Nice.
I only got to go. My sister is going, who's several years older than me, and she would kill me if she heard me say that. But she was going with her friends, and one of her friends got sick, so they had an extra ticket that like they needed someone to go. So the little sister just got shuffled in, and I got to go. It was great. I fell asleep like 20 minutes in.
That's funny. Good concerts, man. I like all these. I would go see all these.
You got one for us?
I would too.
I'm trying to think so hard. I feel like I've compartmentalized and blocked out all of this just due to trauma. Like, what did I do? It was either Warped Tour, okay,
Oh, yes.
or it was Eminem and Snoop Dogg, and there was like a whole bunch of other people, but all I remember is that whole place. Again, this way prior to legalization, the whole place was just full of weed smoke, and every time a strobe light hit it, you just saw like this thick fog sitting above all of us.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I must have been like maybe 17, 16 or something like that.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
This segment has completely gone off the rails, and I love it. From
Yeah.
Mark kicking Sandra.
We promised we're a soccer podcast.
Yeah. To now just this chaos. Guys, we will get back on track. But just, a little bit about us. Fun to get to know us. Don't go anywhere. We are talking soccer and women's soccer, the best of the best, when we get back.
Oh my God.
Hey, welcome back to Attacking Third. EA Sports FC has announced their nominees for Team of the Year award, and voting is now live as of like 45 minutes ago. So go vote. The top nominees from around the world are giving fans the opportunity to weigh in on who should earn a place in the Team of the Year Best 11. And it is the one and the only fan-voted football award across the globe. So it's EA Sports FC 25. You can choose. There is a link in the chat. There's a link in the podcast description. There's going to be a QR code on the screen too. Vote for EA Sports FC 25. Now, the short list of these players, we're going to run through some of them, but 14 NWSL players chosen, including goalkeepers Ann Katrin Berger, Anna Morehouse, defenders Kaylee Kurtz, Naomi Girma, Emily Sams. They're naming some of these players as midfielders, but Temwa Shawinga, Croy Bethune, Trinity Rodman.
I go to my school of thought then?
Yeah, who knows? Rose Lavelle, Mallory Swanson, and Marta, and then forwards Barbara Banda, Sophia Smith, and Asisat Oshwala. Sandra, who stands out to you as some of these listed for best 11?
I mean, Banda for sure is up there for me. I hope she gets a nod. Honestly, Mayra Ramirez, as well. I'm big fan of her play. But I'm also eager to see like who actually gets selected on the defender side of things. This is a fan-driven vote. I gotta see Girma get this one, and I'd like to see Emily Sams on there as well.
Yeah, Sam's is a really good shout. D, who stands out for you of all the list, right? Across all the different leagues, there's a lot of players from Europe on this list. Who stands out to you to be named?
There's quite a few. I think Germany, Julia Gwynn is a huge shout out. I think she's had a great year, super dynamic outside back. I think if players are looking to develop their game as a modern player, as a defender, that's a player who you should try to model your game after. Another one, obviously, Temwa Shawinga. Yeah, they listed her as a midfielder. I don't know if they ran out of space, but I think she's absolutely deserving. Same with Sandra. I'm going to say Barbara Banda and Khadija Shaw. I mean, no player puts up numbers like that, and it would be crazy for her to not make the best. So those are some players that stuck out to me that I think are so deserving.
It's hard. Honestly, the attackers, like attacking midfielders and
Crazy.
forwards of this list are really hard to choose from. Christine, if you'd have to narrow it down, are there any that you would love to like put asterisks next to encourage people to vote for them?
Oh yeah, Anna Morehouse, goalkeeper. I'd also say Boole, love her. Who else would I want to asterisk in this?
It's a hefty list of names. There's a lot.
I know. Always Mac, Marie Antoinette Katoto. I will always shout for her from the rooftops. Who else? Is there anybody else? And I'd say Myra Ramirez doesn't nearly get enough fanfare.
I think Mallory Swanson deserves a really big shout on this list. She's so impressive to watch, especially coming back from injury. But this is hefty. There's a lot of people on here. Anyone snubbed? Anyone, as we're scanning through it, you notice any names that aren't on here that should have been?
I don't know. Lisa, is there one to you that stands out?
I don't hate the list. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe some folks might be like, I don't know, Rodman maybe? Or is Rodman on the list? There's so many names. There she goes. She's on the list. So
Okay,
no,
let
never
me
mind.
I mean,
she's
Alyssa
on
Nair.
as a midfielder. Oh, yeah. Nair's
Alyssa
really
Nair, even though she just announced retirement, is that the reason why? But to me, that's a crazy oversight if Alyssa Nair's not able to be, if she was able to be on this list and isn't.
Yeah, Alyssa Nair is a really good one. It's hard. There's a lot of names, though. Croy Bethune being on here is so well-deserved. I don't know if she'll win, though, just because the world doesn't know her.
Yeah, that's wild. Is Nair really not on this list? I don't think she is.
She's not.
She's not.
No.
She's not.
Crystal Dunn is another one to me. She had an outstanding Olympics.
She did. I forget that this includes the Olympics. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
You know, if it includes the Olympics, maybe there's an argument for Sonnet to be on here. Like, had to really step up, you know, in some tough moments for the team. Maybe had a good club season with Gotham. Maybe that's a snub.
Yeah, especially because she could play anywhere. She's so versatile. I don't know. This is a good list, though. EA Sports FC 25. They put out a hefty list. And guys, you can go vote right now. It's open as of today. It closes on Sunday, January 12th at midnight Pacific time. So we get until 3 a.m. here on the East Coast. Let's go. So it gives football fans, everyone, plenty of time to evaluate, look through the list, watch some highlights, and then determine who is worthy of your vote. The winners will be announced January 17th through the 24th, and you can actually play the final teams, the EA Sports FC 25 Team of the Year Best 11, starting Wednesday, January 15th. So mark your calendars, go vote, and then go play the game on January 15th. Don't go anywhere, guys. You asked us a lot of questions over the last couple of weeks, and finally, we are answering some of them. Stick with us. Hey, welcome back to Attacking Third. Ding dong, mailbag time. We got questions from you. If you have questions for Attacking Third for any of us, let us know in the chat on YouTube, at social media, across any platform at Attacking Third. Hit us up. Leave comments and replies with your questions. Our producer, Mark, does a great job of compiling them all, and then we get to answer them. Question number one. Let's dive in. This is from Groovy Goalie 1996. What a sick name. Love that one.
Nice.
Groovy Goalie asks, should the NWSL season calendar align with international calendars? Dee, you've played for both. I'm going to you first. Should it align?
No, it's too cold. It is so cold. I was talking to one of my good friends that plays in France right now, and she's like, this is terrible. We're going to go play in the snow. We don't even know if they can clear the fields off in time for us to play because of how much snow is going on. I like that there's the calendar as it is. You can have players that go on loan to both teams. Or seeing players like Jessica Silva who are going to come play in the NWSL for a part of the season and then go back to Europe. So I like that there's the opportunity to do both. And I don't want it condensed to the European calendar. I don't think it works for a lot of the markets here anyways.
Do you prefer playing in the heat of the summer of Houston?
Yes, I would take that 1,000 times over trying to run through the snow and I can't feel my feet and it hurts to inhale air. Think of Denver and Utah.
I'm sorry, that cold? Like,
absolutely not.
When you get to the point where you feel like you're running on glass because like your toes are so cold that when you kick a ball, you're like, I'm pretty sure half my foot is gone. That's just a certain pain that I can't describe to normal humans. Like,
yeah, it's chilly.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think there's also like, this is a really good example. And I don't know if people have actually thought of this, but like for me, like the whole international calendar question is also just like another one of those examples of the differences of resources between like men's professional football and women's professional football. Like Darian alluded to some of those things as well. Like if there's like a crazy snowy type of weather that could potentially, affect a game in some capacity for, Chelsea versus Arsenal on the men's side of things in the Premier League, like I would imagine that the resources to help clear a field and like get things in order are going to be like not even a question. That probably doesn't exist in if we're talking about Chelsea versus Arsenal, like in Women's Super League. Like it's just different. Like it's again one of these very glaringly obvious things, and it's just like conceptually it's like pivot to the international calendar because that's how things are done. Like sure, but the women's game is still growing, it's still trying to evolve, and that includes the resources that come into play when we are talking about how the planet Earth is actually changing as well, because it's getting colder in some places. Lisa mentioning getting really hot in Houston during the summer. But in terms of the scales tipping in one way or the other, it's like maybe for the women's game, they pivot to different calendar versus staying on the international calendar.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll happen. I could see the NWSL going to the international calendar. I could see that happening just as the way that they're trying to go as a league in that direction. I don't know if that's the best idea, but hey, we'll see. Okay, we got another question. Question number 2, Camel 45, I'm going to say. Who is the best defender of all time? Christine. Who is – oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. We're going to go to this one.
Oh.
We're going to go to Abraham. My bad. We're going to Abraham. Why do you think rosters are seeing so much turnover this offseason in the NWSL? What's happening? Sandra, do you know this one?
I don't know if I know this one, but for me, like when I see the roster turnover, for me, it's just sort of a sign of just like the changing landscape of NWSL specifically. Like the concept of free agency culture is something that is still very, very new. In NWSL, free agency only got introduced a couple of seasons ago. And now there's this new iteration of it where it's not getting rolled out in tiers. It's not going to matter how many years of service you have in the league. It's if you're on a contract and you're able to negotiate after fulfilling your contract, guess what? You're a free agent. So it doesn't matter. There's no more draft. You are a free agent. You're able to navigate the trajectory of your career. So when it comes to turnover, for me, it's just kind of a natural progression of things. I don't know how much progression we do have because something else that hasn't kind of come into play with the concept of like a free agency market or a transfer market in NWSL specifically is that it's been kind of dry. Like, let's be real here. The offseason's been kind of dry. That it's not been like the crazy chaotic kind of news and movements that we thought it would be. But I know folks that they're maybe looking at teams that are just like, oh, there's so much turnover. I think we talked about Gotham not too long ago. Seattle just announced a slew of farewells and thank you for your service to a number of their free agents. And that again, I think that's just a symbol of the natural progression of like introducing free agency to NWSL. I don't think, especially if you've been following this league for a very, very long time since its inaugural season, that's new to you. It's a new feeling, it's a new look, it's a new vibe. And I think it's going to take a little while to maybe get adjusted to that. I think the concept of like, having a player be on a team for, 8+ years is maybe not going to be something that is like we see on the regular in NWSL, especially with some of the contracts that we have seen come out of free agency at this point. They're anywhere from 1-year deals with an option to 4-year deals with an option. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of catching up in terms of the normalcy of it all. Eventually, we're going to be looking at this as just sort of kind of normal sports business for the league.
I think people need to consider as well, when you have players that all now have free agency, you have players that are not taking less than a couple $100,000. So if teams are wanting to acquire players like that, you then have to offload some players to then make room for money. You can bring in younger players that are, happy to break into the pro game, that will take a lot less, maybe take the league minimum to just come join the team and try to get playing time, try to develop into the professional world, and elevate their game. But you need players that define your style of play, that you can really build your team around. I think we're seeing that with like a Seattle. How many players have they offloaded now? And I would think that's to help for a player like Lynn Williams and whoever else they're trying to bring on, because they had such a crap season this last year. So because these big players are making moves, like even a Yasmin Ryan going to Houston, there has to be so many other moves to then fit in and fill where money's going, what money's left, how much money you need to bring in that can get players that help define what type of team you're going to be and play like the following year. So I think some players' moves have an effect on other players and their ability to, I know it's a mutual conversation of, do you want to be here? But you're not there to sit on the bench. No person, at least how I'm thinking about playing, wants to go sign for a team that they're going to say, well, you're on the team, but we're not going to travel you. You're not going to play in games. You probably won't dress most of the time unless we have a lot of injuries or there's an international tournament. What do you want to do? That's why I think we're seeing a lot of movement. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot before the window closes.
Yep.
It's almost like those middle tier players, role players on teams that have made probably decent money over the last season or two are now going to say, okay, is this a decision for me? And you're exactly right, Dee. Coaches are going to say, okay, well, we could pay a rookie half of what we're paying this middle tier player that is going to be way more complacent in not playing or not getting a lot of time. And we're going to be able to grow and mold them into the type of player that we need for this team. It's different. It's a whole new landscape that we're seeing in NWSL. And frankly, with the elimination of the draft, with the college game changing so much due to the elimination of the draft and the accessibility of players ages 14, 15, and 18 to go play professionally, the entire women's football landscape is changing from youth levels all the way up until pros. And this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, what we're seeing this year in free agency and trades and transfers. Okay, last question for us to roll out this segment. Question number 4 from 2 Feet In 23. This one is about a new coaching hire in the NWSL. 2 Feet In 23 says, what were your initial reactions to the Houston Dash naming Fabrice Gautreau as head coach? So Fabrice Gautreau named as head coach of the Houston Dash. I'm going to say that I like that this has a head coach that is coming from within NWSL. Gautreau was an assistant coach at North Carolina. He's been around the league for a long time. He understands how the league is played, the players in the league. He understands what he's getting himself into at Houston. It's not the situation where you have a coach coming in from overseas and you're saying, hey, you're going to take this team. But he's also never been a head coach before. And that's a lot of work to have to do at Houston. What did you guys think of this naming of head coach?
It's not Landon Donovan, so that's interesting. And it also means the pendulum. It also for me means the pendulum. It means the pendulum has swung the complete opposite way, I think, for me. Yeah. If you're Houston, I mean, you alluded to it a little bit there, Lisa. You're just like, this is an NWSL type of coach. They rolled the dice with Fran Alonso. It did not work out. And so when their pendulum swung one way. Now that it didn't work out, it's completely gone back the other way. So maybe not too surprising in that sense when I kind of narrow the lens in that way, where it's like, okay, maybe they want to try to get back to something that could work for them. And maybe it's making sure that they go out, get a coach that has been around the league, that understands kind of the, week in, week out kind of intricacies of running an NWSL club. So pendulum the other way, and the jury's out. This is his first head coaching gig in this league. Got to see how it looks.
It's very high risk, high reward, in my opinion, for him, not for Houston. Houston, well done. I think that when you have the opportunity to hire from within someone who's dedicated their time, energy, football, education around the women's game specifically, and have done it for quite some time, I think that's always a win. My initial reaction was like, oh God, like, why would you want to do that to yourself? And I understand there are only so many head coaching positions, and perhaps the opportunity presented and he's ready and he feels that he's ready. But that's such a big bite of a very big apple to take on with your first tenure as a head coach. I wish him well. I hope that they do turn this around and succeed. I just think that given what we know of the history, even more recently, that's going to be an interesting task.
I have faith. I think it's promising. New GM. They have a coach who's experienced in the league. He's coached under Sean Nahas. Now, the way that Sean trains and the tight ship he runs with this, how they train, how they show up, how professional it is, it's always intense. It's short, quick, boom, you're in and out of the game plan. You know exactly what your roles are no matter where you are on the field. Houston needs a coach like that. I don't think you work underneath Sean Nahas for a long time unless you're also bought into that mindset, that way of training. So I love this for Houston. I think this is hopefully the massive reset that this team needs. And if it's not, go to Austin. But I'm really excited to see what this coach is going to do, especially with the new GM, the players are going to bring in, how they're going to up the ante and just make this another back to being a respectable NWSL team where players actually want to go play. And it's not a threat of your career kind of halting to go play for Houston for a year.
Guys, thanks for your questions. Always, if you got questions for the A3 crew, let us know across socials at Attacking Third, on YouTube, in our chat. Send them to us, carrier, pigeon, whatever you want. We'll get them and we will answer them. Thanks, everyone, so much for hanging with us today on this Monday. Go enjoy your day. Thanks for wishing Darian a happy birthday. Congrats, my friend. We're excited for you to enter the 30 club. Let's rock and roll. And thanks, guys, so much for joining us today on Attacking Third. Don't forget, vote for us, Sports Podcast Awards for Best Football Podcast and Diverse Football Podcast, Diverse Voices Award, Go vote for us because we couldn't do it without you, and it is entirely fan voted. We love you guys for listening and watching us. Thank you. Hey, we'll be back on Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, right here on YouTube and anywhere that you listen as a podcast. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you on Thursday for more women's football coverage. For Mark, Darian, Sandra, and Christine, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.